afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a new series of JDE Edwards Talks. This afternoon, we're going to discuss e-invoicing and how the solution is integrated through Quistor with our JDE Edwards ERP. In today's session, I am very glad to see a lot of customers saying hello on the chat. So please use this chat to communicate between each other, to ask questions, to feel open to challenge us. And by all means, we would like to respond to all these challenges. My name is Andrea Istrate. I have been in the JDE Edwards ecosystem for about 15 years at least in my whole career with Oracle and now with Quistor. And I'm very happy to have this series of events we call JDE Edwards Talks every month, the third Monday of every month, to get you closer to JDE Edwards product development team, to teams in Oracle that care very much about the future of your JDE Edwards ERP, and mostly our third-party solution collaborators that have great integrated solutions built for JDE Edwards. Today is around e-invoicing and Pajero. I read an article recently on Yahoo Finance telling us that between 2023 and 2028, we will actually have a compound annual growth of about 19% in this e-invoicing market. So by 2028, everyone is expecting to have a mandate in all European countries and actually have an e-invoicing solution implemented. But what if you look for many more countries rather than just your own, the one that you are actually serving and where your company is located, right? Headquarters. If you have subsidiaries across Europe, across the globe, we have to present you a great solution that will serve your purpose. So today in this call, I'm happy to invite on the stage Christina, our colleague from Pajero, and Victor from Quistor, from JDE Edwards team. He is a project manager in the e-invoicing project. And I'm hoping that with them, you will have a great idea about how to connect back to us and ask us questions on consolidating and integrating the e-invoicing solution with JDE Edwards. During the session today, we will also have a couple of questions to address you via a survey. So please answer them as it best fits your needs. We just want to get a clear perspective of where you stand. So from Latvia to Italy to Spanish, I see, to UK, a lot of customers from UK, even from United States. Welcome to our JDE Edwards Talks. So I leave it now to my guests, Christina and Victor, to take on the presentation. And throughout this conversation, I will also moderate your questions. So we want this to be interactive. Don't hold back asking questions. Over to you, Christina.
Thank you, Andrea. Well, you have just introduced myself, so just to give you a little bit more of information, I'm working in Pajero as Senior Account Executive for 2 years now, and I've been in the electronic invoicing sector for approximately 10 years. And just an overview of what we are going to discuss during the session. So first of all, I'll talk to you a little bit about Pajero. Then we will go directly to the electronic invoicing landscape and what we are seeing today, not only in Europe, but a brief overview all over the world. And what is the impact of these changes, I would say, in businesses. And then Victor will guide us through the JDE Edwards solution and the integration with electronic invoicing, and how accounts receivable and accounts payable processes are automated. So first of all, good afternoon, everybody. And it's a pleasure to be this afternoon with you. And as I mentioned, just for you to know a little bit more about Pajero, we are an electronic invoicing service provider with global presence. And we believe that business communication should be easy. And what does it mean? That we have seen companies all over the world trying to exchange documents and having really important challenges, dealing with paper, PDFs, every type of communication, and not having efficient process in the end. So we work every day to help our customers to be connected with their business partners, no matter if they are suppliers, customers, in some countries also tax agencies, for example, or even banks. And in this way, we want you to be able to exchange electronic documents, even though we are mainly talking about electronic invoicing today, in a seamless way, no matter where your partners are located and what technology they use, but also being compliant with the regulations that we are seeing today. So it's a big challenge for us as well. And how do we do this? So we have built Pagero Network, which is a smart business network, and it uh, allows you to have one connection with Pagero Network and global reach in order to exchange electronic invoices, but also other business documents. And I know that today we are going to mainly talk about the exchange of electronic invoices and uh, invoicing mandates all over the world. But we have also seen companies implementing electronic invoices for other reasons. For example, automation of accounts payable and accounts receivable process without any mandates in order to have better communication with their customers or suppliers as well. And in some cases, we also add other business documents to this process, not only invoices. So we can talk about a catalog of products very used in some industries, purchase orders, transport documents, status documents, payments, and many others. So we can also discuss the automation of your process of purchase to pay and order to cash, and get more efficient process in your company, reduce errors, reduce manual intervention, and also reduce costs. So many reasons for that. So in this slide, we will now have a poll for you to answer in order to understand more about your experience. Why have you been working with electronic invoices? I believe some of your companies do that now already. So tell us a little bit about you. And from Pagero perspective, also, besides all this service that I have been talking, we also, just 1 second. Well, I'm sorry, I'm having a, okay. So we also have solutions for transportation management that is very, it's a very interesting option in some sectors where companies have to handle a lot of transport, and it's very difficult to manage all this process without automation. Then in the healthcare sector as well, especially in some countries, the automation of the exchange of electronic documents is very well developed, and it's an important part of our business. I would say mainly in the region, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, and in the United Kingdom, but in so many countries it's being implemented as well. Or the e-banking sector, the solution that is very used in the Nordic countries in order to automate process for between companies and banks. So many reasons to use electronic documents. What's your point of view on this? And another important thing to mention about Pagero is that we are a global company, a true one, because not only we have more than 30 offices all over the world, but currently we have customers in more than 140 countries. And to our network, Pagero Online, more than 14 million businesses are connected. It's also important to say that we are an open network and we work with interoperability as one of our main values, I would say. We want to be connected to companies no matter where they are, and this is how we do that. And I know that here we are going to mainly talk about JDE Edwards and how to integrate electronic invoicing with your JDE ERP. However, we know that some companies do have multiple service, multiple systems, and sometimes it's also an even bigger challenge to automate this process using all those solutions, right? So just for you to have an idea, here are some of the customers that are currently working with Pagero using different systems. We will talk about JDE Edwards in a moment. And the idea here that I want you to remember when you think about Pagero is that we are ERP agnostic. So no matter what system you use, we are able to connect with you. And now let's go to the main topic of today's session. What's going on in the electronic invoicing global scenario? So to start, I want to leave you here with an image that translates what Andrea just has said to us.
We won't go through every country, right?
No, not at all. Because as you mentioned, there are so many countries introducing electronic invoicing in recent years, and it wouldn't be possible with some minutes that we have now. We just want to give you an overview of what's going on. And of course, if you have interest in one specific country, please let us know. And if we don't have time now, we can discuss this with Andrea and Christopher team in another time. But here is just for you to know that in the last 2 decades, we have seen such a big increase in the number of countries implementing electronic invoicing mandates, starting by Latin America, where currently most countries, I would say, have already adopted this type of models. But now in Europe, we have seen, I would say, in this beginning of the year, many new announcements of electronic invoicing mandates all over the continent. But not only, we can also see that in Asia, Middle East, and many other regions. And this is something that is part of companies' day-to-day activities. I would say that most of you have already received one requirement like this, right?
But maybe, as you said, if even if in some countries there is no mandate yet, some of the suppliers that are in connection to us, to our customers, may already be delivering or requesting e-invoices. Hence, it becomes like, okay, let's go to that level because eventually we will have it as an official regulatory requirement anyhow. So it could be a multiple way street, I would say.
Absolutely. And some companies, when a mandate exists, they are already pioneers, let's say, because they have been working with electronic invoicing, sometimes for customers' requirements or to improve their relationship with suppliers. There are many reasons for that, and you are absolutely right, Andrea. So besides the increase in the number of countries that are adopting electronic invoicing, what we also see is that these countries, they not always adopt the same type of invoicing mandate. Here we can see some of the main electronic invoicing models, or also known as CTC, which means continuous transaction control, which basically says that some countries are controlling the transactions done by their companies. And I don't want to go through all these models in detail, but it's just for you to have an idea that companies, especially multinational companies, face situations every day where they have to adapt their systems to all these different requirements, which is not only connecting to a governmental hub, but also having a specific format. And this is a big challenge for most of the customers that we talk every day in Pagero. And how it affects business. Well, so far we have seen some of the primary challenges faced by companies, especially multinational ones, are not only implementing an electronic invoicing solution, but also keeping the solution updated and compliant. Because once a mandate starts, we frequently see changes coming. So sometimes it's a new type of document, sometimes it's an updated version of the same document or new requirements. So it's very important that companies have the correct and updated information to maintain their electronic invoices system solutions updated and adapted to the local requirements. Also, it's necessary to have connectivity with the governmental hubs that are being put in place in some of those countries. Some of them don't have a specific hub, and we will see this, for example, in the Spanish model with interoperability as their base. And how do you get connected with those hubs, with your business partners, and make a seamless process for your company? It's not an easy task. But besides that, we also have to handle multiple formats. Your system has a specific native format, but each country has another one. And sometimes, as Andrea mentioned, your customer requires you to exchange a specific type of document. So how do you guarantee that you are able to adapt to each one of those formats? And besides that, the content. We should guarantee that the invoice has all the required information from tax perspective, commercial, procurement, as well as technical requirements. So this is something to pay attention as well. And in the end, what we see is that many companies are currently handling multiple solutions and sometimes multiple vendors as well. So technically speaking, and maybe Victor can talk to us a little bit more about it, but it's also a big challenge to have so many services for one single purpose, right? And we have come here today to discuss what's coming next. So also for you to have an overview, this is the CTC mandate forecast that we have prepared. And you can see that 2024 has a lot of news, but also next years we already have many mandates confirmed to start or to be increased somehow, let's say. And here, just for you to have an idea, in 2024 we have started with the beginning of the mandate for B2G transactions in Greece, and also in Romania for all taxpayers. And this mandate is continuing, and by July 2024, in the next months, companies will not only be able to to be required to issue electronic invoice in Romania, but also to receive electronic invoices from the governmental platform. So it's a big change here in the continent, but we can also see countries in other regions, for example, in Latin America, putting in place updates in their existing systems, or Saudi Arabia, that has already started for many years now the use of electronic invoice, but we are still in 2024 integrating new companies in their phase 2, where they should be connected to the local tax agency, SATCA. So these are just some examples for you to have an idea. And in this context, another important thing here in the European Union is VIDA, which is a proposal from the European Commission. It stands for VAT in the Digital Age. And the idea here is to have a new digital reporting system based on invoicing in order to harmonize the exchange and the VAT reporting in the European Union, which will also affect electronic invoicing. This is being discussed currently, but measures will be implemented, and we believe that by 2028 we will have news on that as well. So many changes in the European Union, and I will talk a little bit more about some other countries in a moment. But just before we proceed, we have another poll for you now, and we want to know a little bit more about you.
You keep us in suspense. Let's see.
Okay, so I will continue.
Let's ask the question live as well. So what strategy are you planning to adopt for the use of electronic invoice? Is it to respond to specific country regulation with a local e-invoicing solution? Some customers may take this on if they only have one subsidiary, or plan ahead for upcoming mandate with global e-invoicing solution.
We will see the results in the end, Andrea.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, great.
And to complete to what you're saying, I also posted in the chat the Pajero Regulatory Atlas. I really like how you named it. It's a interactive map that gives you the mandates in each country, so you can
Yeah,
access that link. Yeah.
yes, as I mentioned, one of our recommendations for companies to be ready for these mandates is to have information on that. And another very interesting resource that we have, and it's available for any company that wants to know more about invoicing updates, is the Compliance Monitor. And you can subscribe in the same page where you have the atlas below. You can sign up to receive a monthly report on all changes that we have been aware of in the last month. It's a monthly report all over the world. So it's very interesting as well for companies that are currently facing this challenge. And having said that, I will continue talking about some of those countries that we believe could be interesting for you. And let's start by Germany, because we have recently seen the approval of the beginning of the mandate, electronic invoicing mandate in this country. Currently, it's already mandatory to exchange B2G invoices in Germany, and PayPal is the standard used in there currently. But by January 2025, so not far away from now, I would say, all companies in Germany should be ready to receive electronic invoices in a structured, compliant format, such as the one already being used there. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly in Germany, but I would call it Extraction. And um, even though all the companies are not required to submit these invoices, they have done the first step to implement the reception of invoices, structured invoices there. So it starts in January 2025, and there will be a gradual rollout. And by January 2027, companies with a turnover higher than 800,000 euros will be required to submit electronic invoice, to issue electronic invoice using a structured format. So nor paper or unstructured electronic formats will be allowed. And this is something that sometimes causes a little bit of confusion. And we have seen countries accepting PDF as electronic invoices, but it's important to say that a PDF doesn't allow an automatic communication from system to system. And even though we can use an OCR technology, it's always necessary to have manual processes in order to receive a PDF as an invoice, right? So the idea here is to use structured formats only, no PDF allowed, all right? And all remaining business by January 2028 will have to issue electronic invoices in structured formats as well, in a compliant one. The invoices have to be archived for a period of 10 years. And the PayPal infrastructure is currently being used in Germany and can also be used by private companies, or a direct exchange can be done via interoperability. And let's continue to see a little bit more of other countries. Well, France is a hot topic as well, because it was supposed to start their mandate by July 2024, so this year. The same thing for Poland, we will talk in a moment. But the government has decided to postpone the beginning of this mandate because it was a very complex process and they wanted to prepare their solution in a better way. And currently, we know that B2G invoices are also mandated in Spain, but B2B invoicing will start in a gradual rollout as well as Germany, but with some difference. Well, first of all, in January 2025, the pilot will start, and the real mandate will start by September 2026. And large and medium-sized companies will be required to issue electronic invoices and e-reporting, depending on the type of invoices they exchange. And all taxpayers, as well as in Germany, will be required to receive electronic invoices. So this is something that's being done in Germany as well as in France. And by September 2027, the small enterprises will be required to issue invoices. And a special, well, it's important to mention here that France has also included the e-reporting concept, which means that the companies that have B2C transactions or cross-border transactions will have to make a special report electronically on this type of transactions, okay? And how companies can fulfill these requirements there? There are many options. One of them is do it manually in the governmental platform, have your own developments, which technically speaking, may require a lot of resources because this is not an easy task to adapt to all these requirements from the French mandate. But then you also have the possibility to count on two types of service providers: an OD, which is an intermediary that is not certified by the government, and a PDP, which must fulfill very complex requirements, and it's a certified service provider by the French government. So you can choose each one of these options. And the advantage of having a PDP is that your service provider will be able to make the complete process and get your invoices reported to the local tax agency and directly exchange them with other service providers without having any intermediary on that. Okay, so it's the more complex solution that will give you more, I would say, security, and you don't have to worry about it because your service provider will handle everything for you. Pagero is currently a candidate for the PDP certification, but the French government haven't yet decided what companies will be PDP or not. So let's progress because I have more to talk.
Yes, and this is what I was saying. We won't get into all the details. Maybe just some highlights on these other countries, and I'm sure you're very eligible to speak at least one day on all. But we would really like to see how this is integrated to JD Edwards, and I'm sure that a lot of customers here will do that as well.
Okay, and just to quickly finish and let Victor tell us more about the JDE, because I'm sure this is very interesting for you as well. So we also have the mandate in Belgium expected to start in January 2026 for both issuance and reception of electronic invoicing. Use PayPal model, which is already used there for B2G transactions. And in Spain, we are expecting a big change here. Currently, B2G transactions are also mandated, but in 2022, there was a new law approved, Lo Cree y Crece, for Spanish companies. And it will have a gradual rollout as well. First, companies with a turnover higher than 8 million euros will be mandated to issue and receive electronic invoices. The important thing here is that the interoperability model will be applied. So invoices will be exchanged directly through the service providers, and only a copy will be sent to a public platform that's being built currently and will work as a repository. And also an interesting thing to notice here is that companies will be required to submit the status of invoice acceptance, rejection, and payment of them. Okay, so it's a big change for what we have seen so far. And if you want to know more, please let us know, because I'll continue being conscious of time. And and to finish with Europe, what's going on in Poland? The mandate was also supposed to start in July 2024 for B2G and B2G invoices, but it was postponed. Currently, the government is doing an audit process in their technological solution, and we expect to know more about the new date soon. Okay, so if you are subscribed to the compliance monitor of Pagero, you will get news on that as well. And you will have a centralized infrastructure or where all invoices are approved or rejected by the government and will be distributed by them, similar to what we have seen in Italy. And to finish, Malaysia. In this country, we are also seeing a new mandate starting now in August 2024. And we will also have pre-clearance centralized model where invoice should be approved before being submitted to your customers. And currently, many companies are thinking about this country as well. And thank you for your attention. I hope I didn't use that much time.
No, not worry about that. I think this is a useful presentation for us all, and especially for our customers. And we have Christina, actually not us, has prepared slides for many other countries on the mandate and what you need to hear. So now let's look at JD Edwards bit with Victor. And if we have time for questions round up to Christina, or better yet, put the questions in the chat and we will try to answer them live. So over to you, Victor.
Hello, good afternoon. It's Victor Villalta. Yes, I'm managing consultant at Quistor and project manager for electronic invoice. I have been working around JDE Edwards around 25 years, more or less, since 2000. Okay. And so from Quistor, we have been working on a solution to integrate Pagero with JDE Edwards in both directions. Okay. We have already developed a baseline that can be discussed and adapted to each customer's need. Okay, so I will start with the AR part, AR solution, and later I will explain about a payable solution. Okay. So first of all, JDE Edwards doesn't have a native and complete electronic invoice solution. Only the generation of the XML in PEPL format is in the latest version of JDE Edwards. That's all. Okay. And so that's why Quistor started working on that, and we were working with Pagero for that. And now Quistor offers this integration solution with Pagero for all the countries under Pagero scope. Okay, so don't need any specific local software for each country. We have integrated JDE Edwards with Pagero to send the electronic invoice information, and Pagero will be responsible to convert it into the different formats and send it using different communication protocols depending on what the requirements of each recipient there are. So as Christina already explained, for example, a company using our solution will send to Pagero, and Pagero will generate the XML format to a specific country government. Okay, and Pagero can also send the same electronic or a different electronic invoice to the different clients if it was requested. Okay. And it can be done in the way the client needs that, okay, by email, by EDI, with or without digital signature, and this kind of things. Okay. And Pagero will respect the recipient's formats and protocol. Okay. So this is about overview of AR solution, how we are preparing this solution, how we are integrating. Quistor has defined two different components, okay? It's 1 and 2. And the first one, the process to generate the XML in Pagero, PUF, Pagero Universal format, okay? For this process, we based on the enhancement of JDE Edwards Electronic Invoice Solution with additional, we have already developed additional UBEs, XML templates, tables, and application, okay, to enhance this standard solution that we were based on, okay. As I said, it's a global solution, although for some countries, additional information is required, and it is included in what Pagero calls extensions. We have already included some of this extension of some countries that will be mapped with the specific localization that each client has in place, okay? Because we know that depending on the client and also on the country, we have different localization implemented, standard or custom ones, okay? And the second component is the connector, okay, to send the XML containing the electronic invoice information from JDE to Pagero. We have developed this connection in Oracle Integration Cloud, okay, OIC, okay. This Quistor integration solution is the basis for the implementation on any client, okay? But of course, we are open to discuss different approach and different solutions in order to integrate, okay? Okay, and data extraction from JDE Edwards. Okay, the first point here we go deeper into how we have prepared our solution for the generation of the XML in path format. In this first 1A point, we have developed it based on the standard Oracle JDE Edwards process to generate the electronic invoice, as I said. Okay, the standard one generates a people format, and we can generate the electronic invoice from account receivable or from sales module, okay, from both of them, okay. And we have developed new tables and new process in order to generate that. At the same time that we print the invoice, we generate the XML format based on some specific setup as the issue place, country code, and additional setup that we need to have in place, okay. Our solution reads back the XML with the response and update the status. We have created some additional tables to store more information like the legal number, QR code, or other relevant information, okay, from the government response, and also to track the status of the different XML generated. Okay. The second part is why I say that this is our solution, how we have already developed this solution, but at the same time, we are open to prepare a custom solution with each client to generate the XML in the proper way, okay? We can include additional information and integrate client JDE Edwards development if it is needed, okay? In this case, we will prepare with you a custom UBE to generate the XML and also different table or different application if we decided that, okay? We decide that. And the second part is the integration itself, okay? The communication, okay? We use Oracle Integration Cloud as the middleware. In OIC, we call different APIs from Pagero to send invoices and manage the different response we can have, okay? We send invoice and get the response from Pagero to know if it has been uploaded correctly in Pagero, first of all, okay? Later, we get the different responses from the government and or from the client, okay? And depending on the country mandate, as Christina said, we are going to send the invoice to the client or it's going to be sent by the government. Oracle Integration Cloud receives the response and sends them to JDE Edwards to update the status and to upload some relevant information as the legal number, QR code, and other information that are in different countries and can also be included in the future, okay? In this case, we are also open to adapt this solution to your middleware if you have anyone in place, okay? Of course, we will have to implement the different processes that we have already developed in Oracle Integration Cloud, but we can work with you in that solution also, okay? And if you want to know more about how we have developed this integration between JDE, OCI, and Pagero, let us know because we can have a specific call. And in fact, we have some more details, graphics and diagrams and flow to explain to you. But okay, now we don't have enough time for that. Okay? And the second part of the solution is the AP automation. Okay. Here you can see the electronic invoice, how it can be transferred from our supplier to our ERP, okay? In fact, the electronic invoice project is really, I think that it's really a very good opportunity to automate the account payable part because it will soon be mandatory in some countries, but it is not just about compliance, but it's also about automating and optimizing the introduction of invoices in the companies, in the ERP, in JDE Edwards, okay? At the same time that we send invoices to our customer, we will receive invoices from our suppliers, okay? We have developed the solution to upload the supplier invoice in JDE Edwards. First, Pagero will receive the supplier invoices in electronic format. OCR capabilities is also available in case you receive still some invoices on paper, okay? Then Oracle Integration Cloud will send the new invoices to the JDE Edwards server in the PUF format, in the same format, always in the same format. We will run inside of JDE Edwards a process to upload the invoice to a temporary account payable set of tables. and update the table, the XML table status with the status of this process, okay? And we will inform back to Pagero if the invoice has been successfully uploaded in JDE Edward or if we had any error, okay? Once we have the invoice in the CETA table inside of JDE Edward, we suggest to use the standard JDE Edward voucher match automation, okay, VMA functionality. With this VMA, we can automatically match the invoice against the purchase order receipts. We will have to manage all the section and all the suggestion, okay? But it can help us in order to automate all this process. And of course, in any case, if you prefer, you can match the purchase order manually. In that case, we will just generate a logged voucher inside of JDE Edward and you can match manually. Okay? Related to all this functionality, we have this standard functionality in JDE Edward, this match automation standard functionality, and this is more or less a general overview about this functionality that can be quite helpful in order to implement this electronic invoice implementation for AP. Okay. Some functionality, some option that you have there is that is three-way matching is supported now, and it will be supported soon two-way. You can match against the receipt, and in the future you can match also against the purchase order directly. Okay. You can create matching or suggestion using purchase order number that we recommend all of you to ask the supplier to include the purchase order number in the invoice because it will make everything easier in order to match the invoice with the purchase order. And also this functionality works with items, with amount in order to check if it can be matched or not with any open purchase order. Okay. There are several automation rules that can be set up in JDE Edward depending on the supplier and how the supplier send the invoices to us, if they group by shipment or not, or different things. Okay. Here, for example, we have an example of the rule number 2. It matches each line of the invoice to a line in the receipt. Some of them have been generated from the same purchase order line. Okay. Other functionality like partial receipt, field lines, tolerance, it's also included in the application. And also you have a workbench to see the status of each matching. Okay. So if you want to know more about this voucher match automation inside of JDE Edward, let us know. And also you can have a look at Oracle where you can find some documents and some videos explaining that. Okay. So that's all more or less. I hope it's clear the solution that we are in Quistor are proposing to you for AR and AP electronic invoice integration with Pagero, and let us know if you have any question.
Yes, 2 questions, Victor. So Viola from Lookout would like to know if this is dependent on the release 24 of JDE Edwards, or the integration can be done on what they have right now in terms of version.
We can implement with release 23, 24, and even before. Okay. Just needed. I will propose that it would be better to have release 9.2 of JDE Edwards, because in 9.2 you have this voucher match automation functionality for the account payable part, and also because you have the basis for the AR electronic invoice. So if we want to use part of the standard functionality, I would suggest to at least have 9.2 of JDE Edwards, and it will be better if we can have release 23 at least.
Okay, good. And regarding maintaining the integration, and not just that, maybe Cristina, you would like to add also on the Pagero support once the solution is implemented. So once we implement Pagero integrated with JDE Edwards, Quistor offers maintenance for the integration and independent of the middleware solution. So I'll respond to the maintenance part because I'm responsible for sales. Yes, we maintain the solution and we want to stay close to our customers and see what is next in other countries that they are foreseeing to implement the solution. But on the middleware solution, I don't think there's any inconvenience, right, in terms of adapting the implementation and then maintaining the integration. Victor, correct? There's no difference in the middleware. It's irresponsive of what middleware the customer has. We can adapt the implementation and then maintain the integration. Right?
Yes. Of course, we can use the middleware that the customer has, okay, and we can. But of course, we have to implement the same thing that we have already done in Oracle Integration Cloud. We have to implement in the same way in their middleware, okay? But we are open to work on that solution also.
Okay.
And in terms of the invoicing requirements in each country, as Victor mentioned, these proposed integration use Pagero Universal Format, which is as long as possible to include the main fields of invoices all over the world. However, we also have extensions per country, okay? So whenever a new requirement is published, we try to adapt it ourselves. Unless it's, let's say, a new field that should be sent, then maybe it's a new information that should be configured in the ERP and sent to us, or maybe we can do an enrichment on that. But most of the times we keep these formats updated without the need of you intervening if possible.
Okay, thank you. And you offer support in several languages, right?
Yes, that's correct. Pagero has a support team currently speaking 10 languages, in English available 24/7. Also, it means that every day during the year at any time you can contact them.
Super. That sounds good. So thank you. We learned a lot today, and I hope that this session was interesting for our customers. A quick also kudos to our presenters today, Victor and Christina. You did a wonderful job. And to keep you excited, in May, we will discuss with AJ Schifano, JD Edwards' little star, I would like to call. He is in the JD Edwards product development team in the United States, and he will give us the best of the best from Blueprint 4D, an event that is happening in May in Dallas. I will be also there, and I will be looking forward to see what AJ is delivering in the JD Edwards talks as best highlights of Blueprint from vaccine. So I'll hope you'll join us. My colleague Francesca from marketing will send the information over on the next JD Edwards talk session that happens in May, on the 19th of May, if I recall correctly. Sorry, on the 20th of May, because 19th is a Sunday. And we're hoping to stay close to you guys, to create a vibrant community and have many people coming on the stage and sharing with us JD Edwards improvement solutions and best ways of utilizing this great tool. Thank you and have a wonderful week ahead.
Thank you. For you too, Andrea, Victor.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
And everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.